Good morning, good afternoon. Today is February 7th, 2023, and we are on day 18 of our journey together, and today is called Shadow Work. But before we begin, as always, I'm going to talk about today's astrology and also pull a card from a tarot deck. Okay, so we're coming off of this full moon in Leo, and we're still kind of in that energy. The moon right now is in Virgo, so it's all about doing things to heal our bodies, doing things that will help us feel really good inside. Virgo is the archetype of the healer, of the herbalist. It deals with health, to be of service. And it's a disseminating moon. So we're releasing, we are letting go until we get to 2 weeks from now, which is the new moon in Pisces. Today's energy in the sky, we have a Venus sextile Uranus, and this is a very, very beautiful and juicy energy. Sextiles are 60-degree angles, which are of the nature of Venus. They're very harmonious, but in order for us to take advantage of this energy, we have to do something. Venus is in Pisces, which is said to be in its exaltation. It loves being in Pisces. And Uranus is still in Taurus. It's been there for quite a long time. And Venus, so what's beautiful about this energy is that Taurus is ruled by Venus. And so they are speaking to each other in harmony. And it's a beautiful day, again, like I said, with this moon in Virgo. It's a beautiful day to actually, if you can, take some time off to meditate, to cook yourself some good food, to do art, music. I'm planning to, I still have to do a couple of things for work, but I plan to take a lot of time today to just be creative and rest and read my book and go outside in nature and really taking care of my body. And man, Uranus and Taurus has really made me rethink health, because health is not just physicality. It's not just our physical body, but it's really how we nourish ourselves, how we nourish our mind, how we nourish our spirit, emotions, like the whole shebang. So health to me is the whole holistic system of what makes us human. And that includes desire, that includes play. And I talk about this all the time. I think it was also on, when was it? Was it day 11 when it was joy and play? I think so, or day 13. Hold on. Now I'm getting mixed up here. Okay, it was day 13, joy and play, and why that's so important in manifestation. I was talking to somebody new yesterday, and she asked me what makes me different in the manifestation field. And I said it's because of my own personal experiences and my ancestors. And I believe manifestation just simply means co-creation from your divine spirit and being in alignment with your mind, body, and soul. And we are always creating, like I said, we are always in the creation process. And within the creation process, we have to honor the death cycle as well. And so, manifestation in itself encompasses all of these stages of releasing, of dying, of letting go. And so when we're not in this state of constantly wanting more or receiving, it doesn't mean there's something wrong. It just means that it's not the season for it. The energies aren't available to you. So I want to remind people that just because you don't manifest something in your own timing doesn't mean that something's wrong with you, or you've done something wrong, or that you don't know anything. It's just either the timing is not right, or something better is coming along, or it's not meant for you. All right, so let's pick a card. What is the main message for today, Spirit? What is the main energy for today? Oh, thank you. The Nine of Cups. I love this card. So the Nine of Cups is Venus in Pisces. This is a wish fulfillment. This is nine. The number nine means a completion. So something is being manifested. And Pisces is obviously oneness, unconditional love, completion. It is everything, everywhere, all at once. And Venus is the planet of love, beauty, attraction, desire, relationships, money, like all the beautiful things in life. Venus in Pisces is a wish fulfillment. And I think today, with it being sextile to Uranus, it's like something unexpected might come to you, either a message from somebody, because Uranus is like the sky god. Uranus is unexpected. It's like you weren't like maybe even manifesting it, but here it is, the wish fulfillment. I'm so excited. But I wanted to read this is the Muse Tarot, which is like I'm obsessed with. And the creator of this deck, Chris Ann, writes the most beautiful poems to each of the cards. So I just wanted to read the Nine of Emotions. Keywords: a gift from the universe, dreams manifested. What did I say? Enjoying your rewards, fulfillment and satisfaction, gifts and positive message from spirit. Sometimes it's as simple as floating. The universe doesn't give beautiful endings to those who simply have talent, confidence, faith, or wisdom. It grants them to those who are brave enough to go after what they want. The belief that is needed, only that you are enough to begin. You don't need to be totally there yet to know that you are worthy, loved, and whole. Just put one foot in front of the other. When you wish your dreams to life, how big are you making them? Are they luminescent enough to keep you going when things get a little dark? Do they light the way when you forget why you wanted them in the first place? Remember that it can be easy, that it is easy. You too have everything you need to reach out and accept this gift from the universe. It's not other, it's yours. Make a choice to go get it, because your gift is on the way. A tasted life of wishes brings the ups and downs of joyful strings. And after all, my learning sings my satisfied rewards. Forth springs. And that's why we start this journey with your vision and your dream, so that when there are dark times, you remember your why and why you wanted it in the first place. And I just wanted to share an anecdotal story. Oh my God, my hair is going crazy because I just took a shower. Because I really believe in the power of sharing and storytelling, so that, there's a reason why they say you are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. And energy is not only individual, but it's collective. So when you surround yourself with people who are dreamers, who are change makers, who believe in their dreams, that energy just by osmosis becomes a part of your reality. So it's very important to listen to these stories, listen to other people, a place of like, why do they get to do that and not me? But like, if I'm in their vicinity, if I'm in their energy, then it's way more possible for me. Okay, so I met with my editor, the editor who helped me edit this book, Kate Zimmerman. Hi, Kate, if you're watching this. And wait, I'm gonna look at my calendar to see when I actually met her, because okay, so I met her 3 days after the new moon in Aquarius, which is when this whole journey started. And we were just like catching up, and it was the new moon in Aquarius, and I was starting this 40-day journey on YouTube that I was telling her about, and get actually going through this process with people to help them. And I was like, what can I do that's within my control, or how can I manifest more people finding this book? And she said, she gave me like a couple tips of like what needs to happen within like I guess the bookseller side. So my book was published by Union Square Publishing, which is the imprint of Barnes and Nobles. So my books are sold at Barnes and Nobles in the stores as well. And she said that like the head buyer of Barnes and Nobles needs to buy like 10,000 units of my book. But not only that, but the if the book is like displayed at a table, like you've been to Barnes and Nobles before or at a bookstore, you see books easier when they're like out on a table, or it's like staff picks and they like recommend the book, or they're displayed on the aisle. So she said that's what you can manifest. So I said thank you. So I went home on the bus or the train and I visualized it like on the shelf and it vibrating and it helping so many people, and I imagined in my mind people picking it up and being attracted to it and helping people manifest, and helping not only people manifest but getting people to see manifestation in a different way, not as something that like is like a shameful exercise, but an innate ability that we all have, that I'm just reminding you, hey, friend, like remember you have this power within you. And so that's what I imagined. And I imagined it like, during that week, and I held the vision. I was like, my book is going to be found by millions of people, and it's going to help people. So literally on the full moon in Leo, which was on Sunday, this woman on Instagram who I do not know at all, she tagged me in her video. She's a coach of some kind, that she had been going to Barnes and Nobles because she had like, there's a longer part of her story where she had this book, which I think I have too, this manifestation book. And one day she just decided that she was interested in manifestation and wanted to pick it up. So she was reading this book, and then she went to Barnes and Noble seeking out other manifestation books. And she said she felt very called and drawn to my book. And she picked it up, she bought it, and she's on day, well, when it was on the full moon in Leo, it was her day too. And that it like helped her realize that she already manifested a lot of the things that she was trying to manifest. And so this is the power of intention, holding the vision and believing, because a full moon is a manifestation, it's a culmination, it's a completion. It's when you see something very clearly. And so the intention on the new moon, when I saw my editor, was I wanted people to notice my book. I wanted people to be attracted to this book. And then on the full moon, which is kind of like the halfway point until we like complete a whole lunation cycle, which is about 30 days, I saw that it was working because this woman had tagged me in her video, and I reached out to her and I was like, oh my God, you have no idea that I was manifesting this. So it becomes like full circle. And then I'm going to just keep going. I'm going to release more of like what's holding me back, and maybe like why can't it be more than one person? Why can't it be attracted to 100,000 people or 1,000,000 people? So that little sign was enough for me to say, this is what I'm meant to do. This is working. My manifestation process is working. So that was just a short story to tell you of my real-time manifestation like process. And I want you to share yours as well if you've seen anything since the full moon in Leo, because that was the 14 days after our new moon in Aquarius intention for what we're manifesting. And if nothing has happened yet, it's totally cool, because we're all on our own cycles and timings. And also like some intentions and some manifestations take longer than others. And but the first sign might have come up during the full moon in Leo. And just as the Nine of Cups, something is being manifested, something is coming to the surface. Okay, so let's start on our day 18, which is shadow work. And I actually recommend reading my friend Danielle Massey's book, which is Shadow Work. And I'm trying to see if I even have it here. But she wrote an entire book about shadow work. She's a licensed therapist, and shadow worker, but we wrote our books at the same time, literally not knowing that she was writing a book about shadow work with one chapter on manifestation, and I wrote a manifestation book with one chapter on shadow work, and we ended up having a book signing together in December, and I met her in person, and she's like a fabulous human being. So go check out her book if you want to go deeper in shadow work. But here we go, day 18. Everyone carries a shadow, and the less it is embodied in the individual's conscious life, the blacker and denser it is. At all counts, it forms an unconscious snag, thwarting our most well-meant intentions, by Carl Jung. And I've alluded to this now for a couple days about shadow work and working with our unconscious. So this is like the psychological model where if you see an iceberg, the top part that's above the water that you see is your conscious mind. The part that you kind of see, but is kind of submerged underwater, is your subconscious mind. And we talked about that yesterday. Now, the part that you don't see, that's like down in the depths of the ocean, is your unconscious mind, where your shadow lives. Okay. So, like I said, yesterday we talked about the subconscious mind and how it defaults to certain programming, even when we're not aware of it. Today, we will dive deeper into that unknown with shadow work. You might have heard about shadow work. Actually, the most popular question I get asked these days is, what is shadow work? It's an essential part of the journey into understanding the root cause of your blocks. So another thing that I told this woman who was asking me about, like, what makes me different than other manifestation coaches, and I'm not putting any shade to anybody else because everyone has their own perspective on manifestation and their own like set of skills to bring this topic forth. But for me, having a degree in psychology and understanding how the mind works, we cannot manifest with which we don't understand what's in our unconscious mind, because our unconscious records everything that has ever happened to us, and even in our past lives, if you believe in that. So no matter how many times I tell my conscious mind, I'm wealthy, I'm okay, I'm like healthy, if my unconscious mind has remembered things from my past that don't make me feel that way, then there's no way that I'm going to be able to manifest, because it's recorded and hidden in my unconscious mind. But don't worry. I know this seems very daunting, but I'll tell you how to work with your shadow. Okay. So I decided to declare my major in college after a psychology class in which I learned about Carl Jung. Jung, a Swiss psychologist, developed a number of influential concepts that continue to be a part of the language of self-exploration today, including the shadow self, which is the basis of what we will call shadow work. Jung believed that everyone has a shadow aspect, and integrating it into your conscious personality is so important because it can be helpful in terms of getting past obstacles. Sometimes it is more useful than any other kind of healing. So when people ask me, I went on this podcast tour in September and they were like, what are some shortcuts to manifestation? And although I don't believe in shortcuts, I said shadow work. I said healing. I said looking into your unconscious mind. Particularly if you have experienced trauma. Jung termed the shadow as the aspect of an individual's personality often deemed as unsavory or unacceptable, which then gets repressed into the hidden parts of the human psyche. The shadow aspect is what society or a culture or our family deems as taboo. This can be sexual desire, career exploration, gender presentation, or any number of things that might go against the perceived norm in your world. Jung wrote that when we express these parts of ourselves, we feel shame, so we repress them. He suggests that the more you repress these desires, feelings, and urges, the more often they are projected into our experiences. For my own part, I didn't get to pursue my artistic career in college, and so my artistic endeavors took a back burner to making it. As a result, I repressed my creativity. This neglected aspect of myself became my shadow. Because I didn't have a healthy way of expressing myself, that repression turned into addiction. Whenever I would meet someone who was in a creative field, it would trigger all of these negative feelings, such as jealousy and anger. Today, think about what shadow aspects you might have repressed and how these behaviors might be finding their way into your daily life now. If you can pinpoint this process before it takes hold and instead turn it towards your shadow with compassion and give yourself space to be your true self, you can head off unhealthy behaviors and patterns of thought before they begin. This is why the process of identifying your shadow, doing shadow work, and then integrating your shadow is so important. So, one of my teachers, Resma Menakim, says, respect the protect. So obviously, these parts of ourselves that might be deemed unsavory, we had to hide because of societal norms. So like I said, gender presentation or orientation, sexual desires or desires in general, right? We come from a puritanical society, or even like the dark feminine and the ability to say no. You know, as a woman, we are taught to be docile, a people pleaser, and kind of like bending to the will of others. But when we stand in our power and we say no, that is like very threatening to the patriarchy. So when we repress those parts of ourselves, they become our shadow. But then the crazy thing about it's like a universal joke. The crazy part about that is then it becomes something that's projected out. So it's like the more we repress, the more we become obsessed with it, and the more it like gets projected out into the outer realm and might come into a form of addiction. So this is also why it's important to do this work before those addictions, those obsessions and things trigger you to do this work, because when it becomes too late, man, and not that it's ever too late, but um yeah, I was going to go into my own addiction story, but maybe I'll save that for another day, because I don't want it to be about me. Okay, so let's go on. There are four basic steps in Jungian shadow work. 1, accept the truth that our shadow traits cannot be repressed out of existence. Number 2, take time for introspection and accept the root of each shadow trait. 3, work to bring aspects of this shadow trait into the light. And 4, allow shadow traits to express themselves in healthy ways. So going back today, what was it? 2 days ago for the full moon in Leo, we did an exercise, right? So the way you know what a shadow is actually the trigger. So we all get triggered, and spend a weekend with your family because, man, you will get triggered in some way. Okay, so your family, something happens, they trigger you. Instead of like, and this all happens within like mere seconds. So instead of reacting, take a moment, take a beat. And this is actually what I do, which is what I shared yesterday. I it's like kind of like Dorothy clicks her heels. I snap my fingers and I like snap myself back into the present moment. I touch my body. I like put my hands on my heart and I ask myself, what is this triggering within me? Why am I triggered right now? Because the trigger is the shadow that's in you. It's the live wire, because it wouldn't be a shadow if you didn't get triggered by it. So for example, one major trigger that I had to work through was my dad saying that I was basically doing nothing. Um, because like from my dad's perspective, like you need to have a regular traditional job, right? Like, so you need to be a lawyer, you need to be a doctor. And that used to trigger me so much because I had already done things to appease my parents. I went to the college that they wanted me to go to. I worked in finance. I made a lot of money, and it didn't make me any happier because I wasn't living in my own truth. And I will never betray myself again like that. Like, that's the oath that I took for myself. But it was like so confusing to me, like why he couldn't understand that you can make money from home, it was proven to be the case during the panorama. So, but in his eyes, my sister is more worthy because she's a nurse and she works at a hospital and she makes a, a stable salary. She has a 401k. She has health insurance. So in his eyes, she's more worthy. This is like through my lens, obviously, because Laura is this like nomadic, creative person that like I don't understand what she does. So it would trigger me so much. And anytime he would bring it up, anytime he would be like, why can't you just get a normal job? Why don't you just get married? It would literally, like, even before he would finish the sentence, like my entire body would tense up, contract. And that's when you know it's a shadow because your body has a visceral reaction. And when our bodies are in a fight or flight state, you will either want to freeze, you will want to run away, or you will want to fight. And so I do a bunch of different things with my parents specifically. It's like fight and then I run away. And some like my sister's one is freeze. Like she'll just literally sit there like, and her soul will get out of her body and she'll just like it almost like the body's there, but the mind is not there. So I noticed this in 2021 because of the continuous Saturn and Uranus square in the sky. And if you're not attuned to astrology, no worries. It's like every time this would happen, it was like, ding, we're going to test Laura again. And my body would literally get like, I felt like a volcano erupting. So when I finally realized that that was the shadow, I had to look into it. I was like, okay, what about this bothers me? Well, first, I don't feel worthy. I actually don't feel seen by my father at all. Like I'm working hard, I'm doing everything that I'm meant to be doing, but why does he not see me? Like why does he not see me as valuable? Okay, then going deeper into that, like why does that bother me so much? Because we want the approval of our parents, right? Um, Facts. Like no need to go further than there. Okay, what else about this does it bother me? Well, it feels threatening to my sense of security because I know what I'm doing, but I still feel a little like unstable about my own confidence. And him triggering that made me realize, oh, like maybe I don't think that I'm worthy. Maybe I feel like there's something still not like a well with my perception of myself and also like what I'm doing. And so I had to build that up. But that was the process. Okay. So just to summarize, you know what is your shadow, you know the content of what's in your unconscious when somebody triggers it. And that is why we cannot, to the best of our ability, not lash out at the other person because ultimately they're poking at a live wire within us. And so another step to this too is I had to understand his perspective because he's a baby boomer. He grew up during like post Korean War, and to him, safety and security was everything. To him, like having a normal job, having, a continuous salary is a mark of safety and security. So I had to give compassion to his experience because he grew up in a different world than I did. And so in that way, I was able to forgive his perceptions and my perceptions of him. Okay, so this is like a multitude process here. Once I got that understanding, it's like almost like, and because I trust myself so much now, I don't actually need the approval of my parents anymore. Sure, is it easier? Yes. But ultimately, that trigger made and that uncomfortableness made me look back within myself and say, hey, I got this. Like, I trust myself so much because clearly I can only know what's best for me. Um, and I cannot live based on other people's definitions of success. So now, when he says that, now when he says those things, it doesn't trigger me because I've healed that live wire within myself. He can say it. And sometimes, when I'm on an off day and he says something like that, it definitely still like, um, I'll feel it in my body and I'll be like, okay, coming back to the present moment, doing the breath work. And then I remind myself, no, we're good. Like, I trust myself. I trust the universe. I'm always provided for. I know what I'm doing. I trust myself. So that's how you work with your shadow. And if anything, we have to give thanks to that person who triggered it in the first place, because you would never know if it wasn't triggered. Okay. So, obviously, the exercise for today is shadow work. And really, you can only do this kind of when you are triggered. And trust me, again, if you want to know very quickly what is in your shadow, go spend a weekend with your parents. And I forgot what that quote was, but they said, if you think you're enlightened, go spend a weekend with your parents. Seriously, because they are literally the ones who made those buttons that they push in the first place. So the go deeper exercise is use a tarot or oracle deck to give yourself a reading. I particularly like Kim Kranz's Wild Unknown Archetypes, which is perfect for shadow work. I love this deck. It helped me so much in my healing journey and understanding the archetypes in my own psyche. So in 2020 and 2020, actually the last 3 years, what am I even saying? I've done so much shadow work, and every day I would pull a card from this deck, the Archetypes guidebook, and also pulling myself tarot cards every day to kind of see like where I am, where I'm at. And I would literally ask, and it's such a beautiful deck. There's like different archetypes. And I would literally ask, what's in my shadow? What do I need to like heal? And what's holding me back from my manifestation? And I can guarantee you that whatever you're manifesting and whatever block is there is in your shadow. Okay. So, and most of it, I can guarantee as well, is something to do with your worthiness and your confidence in yourself and knowing that you're always going to be provided for. Okay, so looking forward to tomorrow. Day 19 is fear setting. Again, I just want to remind you that we're in week 3, which is all about healing our beliefs. So this is probably the most difficult week of this journey. And so take it very easy on yourself. And just a reminder to like and share this journey. It's free for YouTube. And if you want to buy the book, it's available at Barnes & Noble's, Amazon, IndieBound, and bookshop.org, but you don't need it. As you can see, I've been reading a lot from the days. And if you want to book a personal reading with me, astrological natal chart reading and transit reading, or a Reiki session, those links are down below. Thank you so much. 9 of Cups, we're manifesting something. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.